always wanted to be a one-hit wonder. I just want one hit. I don't want to be like a singer. I just want one massive hit that just sweeps the world, and I tour and I perform and all that, and then I'm like, okay, I'm done.
So when you hear the promo for your show, right? They're like, they're not just faking best friends. They really are best friends, and they're roommates, and they live together. Is that true? Is that really true? You guys are really best friends, and you guys really live together?
Like, yeah. Like I know everything about her.
Yeah,
I know that she has a shipment of castor oil every once in a while to make sure. She's legit my best friend. Like when she first came here in Atlanta, actually you tell that story a lot better.
What you mean?
How I introduced myself.
Yeah, like when I first got here from I'm originally from Atlanta, but I was working in upstate New York. And so I was so glad to come to Florida just because of the change in weather and just the change of scenery, because living in New York is rough anyway. And then it's cold and I hate the cold. So anyway, I come down here and I've been listening to the station. I'm like, dang, everybody at this station is good. I got competition. I'm going to have to be on the A-game. So I'm like kind of nervous because, you're the new kid walking in and everybody's just been there. They know each other. And so my first day I'm in there and I'm like, okay, all the buttons I pushed correctly. I didn't break anything. We're good. And literally before I'm about to turn on the microphone to speak, he busts in, hey! And I'm like, I'm already nervous. I'm already on edge. I'm trying to make a good impression. And I'm like, hi, everything's Danie. I'm about to talk right now, but I can't. So yeah, ever since then we've just been cool.
Yeah, and our friendship is tight to the point that like we have each other's back like 110%. Like we got fired once. I don't know if you guys listen to Amp Radio, 101 Amp Radio.
Yes.
That's where we came from. She was afternoons and I was nights, like she said. And when they flipped to rock, they fired us. So there was a point in time where she was gonna head to Atlanta, and she was gonna leave. She's like, I'm done. I'm not making no money. I'm good. I was literally breaking dough at the clubs and getting her to host them with me.
Yeah.
And then I got offered a night position in Tampa. So when I got offered that night position in Tampa, my heart was more into DJing as opposed to being on the radio. And I told them like, look, I love being on the radio, but I want to give it to somebody. I'd rather you hire somebody that's gonna actually give you the time of day, and this is their full passion. And I told them to hire her over me. I was like, hire her, get her in the building, work with her. And they decided to hire both of us. And from there, she went to Power. From going to Power, it trailed off to like bringing me here. Like after I got her, she always like thanks me. And she's always like, like I give this career to you. Like I got you no matter what. But at the end of the day, it's just because we just scratch each other's back.
I wasn't even like pushing to do a show together. I was just trying to have a job. And he's like, we're going to get a show together.
Yeah,
he is the king of speaking stuff into existence. That's why I ever see people negative nothing, because that man's tongue is like, he says stuff and it's just, and God is just like,
wow.
For me, sure.
I'm a very spiritual cat. Like we even on our show, like we start the morning with a Bible verse. We pray right before how to do. Right. And we really try to speak something great into the show. And again, like it's all about making people feel, and that's what we try to like at least ask the universe,
to help us.
That's amazing.
Wow. And so you guys went to 95.3. And then you guys used to be in the afternoon. I remember hearing you guys like in the midday. But then now recently, you guys just jumped to the morning spot. Like that's like the hottest spot on the radio, right? Tell us about that transition and how did that happen? Is that something you spoke into fruition, or what? How did that go down?
He thought it. That is something, they basically saw something in us. They saw our chemistry because, like he said, he brought me on in Tampa. From Tampa, things didn't work out, and so they shifted me here. And then when I got here, I brought him in. Well, actually, Will was looking for you, really. Like, they had looking for me. Yeah, our PD just so happened to be with us at the same company, but he was in Miami while we were in Orlando when we were both at AMP. So when we got let go, he just kept his eye on us.
Wow.
Doing the social media and all of that. So then when I got here, when the new boss comes in, he wants to go around and meet everybody. The first thing he asked me, he's like, "What's Kevin doing?" And I'm like, Kevin's around, he's chilling or whatever. You trying to get him on because that's my friend. And he's like, I'm just asking. And so like he offered, we eventually get Kevin in, and then we're kind of doing our own thing. And then they still see our chemistry, and they're like, we're gonna kind of invest in this. So they start having us do like the talent coaching and like coaching, like as far as like, because we already had chemistry, but we still needed to kind of get into like, how do you do this as a show together?
Right.
And so they started kind of coaching us behind the scenes, and then they put us on in the afternoon together, and they're like, okay, that's going to be your spot. And he's a DJ. So if you know anything about DJ culture, I think you could speak more to that. Like the 5 o'clock traffic jam, the 5 o'clock spot is like the spot. Like if you're a DJ, you have the 5 o'clock spot, that means you're the DJ.
Right.
And so when we got that just kind of, and then like we just continue to grow, and they're like, okay, we can't just leave them in afternoons. Like they have a little bit too much to give, because afternoons is also kind of confined. So
yeah. And I mean, speaking of the 5 o'clock spot, I mean, I listen to 95.3 often, but since like the pandemic and this whole year, I haven't been driving as much. So I usually listen in my car. So I haven't been listening. But then recently I heard it, and I was like, yo, Kevin, you ain't no joke, man. You're a fire DJ. Yeah. So I remember back in the day, it used to be like DJ Nasty and all these cats, and like these DJs have like big names, you know what I'm saying? And especially in the city. But when I heard, man, so how long have you been DJing? Because you got mad skills for real.
I'm 26 years old now.
Okay.
So I started DJing when I was 15.
Wow.
15. And then I like professionally, I would say I started DJing like professionally in the clubs at like 21. And I would say that I really started like, you could see the develop, like the mass development within the past, like, I guess 2 years. The last 2 years was like when I really was like, actually during that time when we were fired, we were fired, my head into it. Like, I've really grown a lot in the culture, and I appreciate the culture. Like for me, DJing is a lot more than just playing records. It's a lot more of the feelings. It's a lifestyle, and I literally told myself, so there's a post on my Instagram, I'll forward it to you guys, but I had a notebook paper when I was in high school, and I didn't know what I was gonna do in high school, because in high school I wasn't a troublemaker, but I wasn't like the best kid in class. So I was clueless as to what I was gonna do in the future. I was very clueless. I had a point in life where I felt like I didn't belong in a lot of places. And I wrote a whole bunch of goals that I wanted to do. And right across the board was like, I want to work on Power 95.3. I want to be a DJ on the station. I want to be on the 5 o'clock mix. I want to be DJ Nasty, DJ Chino, all these people. Like I now have friends, and I look up to them.
Yes.
I have looked at like Nasty, to get the graces of Nasty. When I got the 5 o'clock traffic jam, it was such a touching moment that Nasty even came to me. He was like, wow, yo, this is like big, like congratulations,
Yes.
And then, Chino, me and Chino fight like brothers.
Wow.
Chino has helped me out a lot in the game when I grew up, like growing in the game, like to the point that we just fought, we stopped talking, and after that we talked again. We friend like he was like my older brother, like fighting me all the time. And he came to me personally. He said, "Hey, congratulations!" And it felt good because those were the people when I was in high school that kept my dream alive.
Wow.
And if you believe that I spoke that and I really put my head to it and wrote it down, and like I'm here sitting living in it, it feels surreal.
That's amazing. And shout out. Yeah, shout out to Chino. We know Chino. We got to work with him a few times. So shout out to Chino. Never got to meet Nasty yet, but if you guys are listening at home, DJ
Nasty is the most humble.
Yes, Nasty's amazing.
Wow. Yeah, he's the nicest person on planet Earth. You
wow.
really know that this man
does what he does.
Does what he does. Amazing.
I remember when I first got him, we just talking to him like in the hallways and stuff, and then like Kevin told me, he's like, it's DJ Nasty. I'm like,
oh wow.
DJ Khaled, DJ Nasty. Like,
yeah. So if you guys if you guys listening at home, DJ Nasty works with Khaled, that whole We the Best movement, all those artists. He's on tour with them when they go on tour. So he's part of that big name superstar, and but shout out to him, and he's Dominican, so I know shout out to him. He's Cuban. Okay, Spanish Heritage Month. Yo, so shout out to DJ Nasty.
I had tagged his brother today, Lenny, and invited them to watch the show. Because Lenny and DJ Nasty work together.
I was like, Lenny, them too. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You got the long dread.
Scary looking. Lenny's scary, man. Every time I see Lenny, he's like, oh,
yeah. He came to our fashion week, Lenny. Starr, you invited him to one of our very first fashion events, one of our press parties. Yeah.
So I have a question, Kevin.
So
I have read somewhere you're also a musician. Is that true?
Yeah, I'm a musician.
Mm-hmm.
You said?
I read somewhere that you DJ. You also on the radio, and then you're a musician.
Actually, in high school, I was also one of those kids that tried to that learned instruments and tried to like sway women. And like, play guitar, and I had this YouTube singer, and like, yeah, I used to sing all the time. And then there was a moment. So little history on that. My mom, for the Vietnamese. Okay, so I come from a Vietnamese Puerto Rican family.
Okay.
My pops is Puerto Rican. My pops is from Brooklyn, New York, and he was a DJ back then.
Brooklyn. Puyaka, Brooklyn.
Yeah, my mother, she's Vietnamese, and she used to travel with some Vietnamese music group, and she used to sing for the Vietnamese community all the time.
Wow.
So I have a little bit of music background just because of them, but I used to sing all the time because of my mom. And I one time, this is gonna be cringe. This is a very cringy story. So I was like infatuated with this girl. Like I really wanted to be with this girl. We were back and forth. I wrote a song for her, right? And I went on the talent show. I put myself in so many different places at the talent show. Like I was the host of the talent show. I was doing another guitar riff for one of my best friends. That I didn't focus on my own piece. I choked in front of everybody.
Oh no!
Like I mean, it was at the point that I was like,
did they boo you?
I got friends in the crowd going, "We here for you. It's okay." And I'm like, so bad. And then,
wow,
I became a DJ.
Wow. So would you consider DJing as being, or DJs in general as being musicians? Because that was my question. So it was a good segue start with, like, I mean, if you think about it, I mean, and you're like very good with your mixes, saying you're dope, saying, so it's almost like you have to have that type of air where the beat, you gotta, it's all about the beats, and you're playing along, you're doing your own thing, you're scratching with it. So would you consider that a musician, and your DJ as a musician? Should they put in that category, or is it its own thing?
I would say yeah. I would say I think nowadays, especially DJs are now producers. They're now graphic designers. I think being a musician can help DJing. As far as being a musician, I would say turntables are like a choice of instrument. I would say because it's just DJing is its own. DJing is a culture in itself. Like
Right.
when you for me, I'm sorry, I'm gonna get really deep into this, but for me, spinning, like I was always taught growing up that if you're gonna learn something, you're gonna learn everything about it.
Right.
And when you start to really dive into everything in the culture, you start to fall in love with the actual craft and you build your stuff on it, and you have to have a wide variety of music choice.
Yeah.
You have to educate yourself. You got to know, like, well, this song was sampled from here and this song came from here, or they got this riff from here, and you'll be able to take that and kind of manipulate it into what's now. So and then on top of that, when you're in front of a big variety of crowds, like an example, Orlando alone is known for being ADD. Like when it comes to crowds and there's no way of satisfying Orlando sometimes.
That's right.
You have to be able to like feed to everybody because there's Dominicans, there's Puerto Ricans, there's white people, there's black people, there's Asian people, there's Punjabi. You get to play Punjabi in the club sometimes, And there's that old cat that's just like, I like old school, and you're like, all right, I got to everybody,
Yes.
Yeah, so I think just diving into the culture itself, I wouldn't put it into too much in a musician quote.
Right.
Not too much.
Right. But it's like maybe partially, I guess, somewhat. So my nephew is a 12-year-old nephew, he's Jessica's son. He's 12 years old and he's trying to learn how to DJ, man. So we'll put you on this. We'll put you on the spot, Kevin. Can you mentor him? Help him out. Give him some tips, pointers.
Yeah, I'll be 110%. I've already done that to so many people.
Really?
Wow.
And a lot of kids do. One in specific. Oh, two. I'm gonna drop two. So one, his name is Kid K, and I met him when he was. Bro, he was like 12. He was 12. Now he's probably like 15, 16.
Yeah, he's all grown now.
Yeah, but I met him when I was doing nights in Amp Radio. I think I saw the video of it too, but his mom was like, yo, my son is a massive fan of you. And every time he would call me like late at night, this is when I was mixing at night, he would call me and be like, hey, it's Kid K, bro. Remix. And he would ask me this song, like ask me about a remix all the time. And like,
that's cool.
And I would just basically give him tips. I would give him pointers. Like I'd be like, hey, like just do it this way, this will be good. His mom organized the time for his birthday and be like, hey, his one birthday gift he wanted was to meet you. So
wow.
I was like, okay. And she was like, I'm gonna surprise him and bring you there. So they surprised him. They brought him to the station, blindfolded him.
Wow.
We went to the station. We put him on the radio. We made some sweeper for him. I gave him a mass folder that I was working on since I started the Groove at the time. I used to DJ at the Groove City Walk.
Oh yeah.
It's all clean music, but it's all like the party anthems, And I crafted all of that for him, and I just gave it straight to him. I was like, look, take the music.
Wow.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And then there's people that hit me up on the 5 o'clock now. They hit me up and they're like, hey, I heard you do this. I'm trying to DJ now. What can I do to do this? And I lay out a whole paragraph on how they can improve themselves and what can make them better. I take the time to educate because, again, I feel like that is also a part of the culture. Like you're supposed to people and educate them,
That's what's up. Well, he's following all of your pages on Instagram. I'm gonna give you the task. Follow inquisitive and follow through.
Well, the key for him starting too is within you guys as well, because when he learns the music that you guys grew up on, it just expands his knowledge. He gets in the clubs and stuff, and he starts dropping these hits in the middle of nowhere. You're gonna get that one cat in the crowd that's like, ooh,
how did you know about that? Yeah,
where is that from?
Yeah.
Cool. Like I have. I'm not gonna say I have it all, but I have a very thick.
No, you have a lot. Like,
I'll go from like.
No, I feel it because she's a Delta. Like we were in the club one night, and out of nowhere, I think it was like Founders Day, and I was like, I don't even know how you know that, but he was just dropped, like, to be real out of nowhere, and I was like, oh, what you doing?
Okay, so Danie B, since you mentioned it, so y'all are Deltas, y'all are sorority sisters, right?
Yes, we are Delta Sorority Incorporated.
Before I let you go, I'm gonna introduce you to another DJ, just with the question of the day. We want to get your answers for the question of the day, and then boom, you guys are out of here. Cool. All right,
let's do it.
Yeah, I need to think about that one.
I played that clip earlier because I guess that goes right in line. I guess it's I never got. Well, I still feel like I could do that, but I'll say this one then. I've always wanted to be a one-hit wonder. I just want one hit. I don't want to be like a singer. Right? I just want one massive hit that just sweeps the world, and I tour and I perform and all that, and then I'm like, okay, I'm done.
Nice.
That's awesome.
Okay, so Kevin, you got to sing in front of a whole group of people, and I think that was pretty dope. That was pretty dope. Is there anything else musically that you were inclined to do, or anything
that I've wanted?
Yeah,
something I've always wanted. I did wanna do culinary school at one time.
Oh, wow.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I wanted to take culinary classes. My high school was like a trade school, and there was like a culinary side. Yeah, I was like, I want to be culinary.
Likes to cook.
My mom was like, "You're not gonna be a cook."
Wow.
Very cool. Very cool.
Yeah. All right. Thank you guys, for hanging out with us, man. We appreciate your time. I know you guys got like all kinds of stuff going on, and today is Friday, so I know you got gigs and whatnot. Definitely check them out every weekday, right? From 5 to 9? Is it 5 to 10?
6
to 10. So I'm just making up time. But 6 to 10.
He's like, I didn't know I did 6 at 8. I heard them.
I don't be waking up that early. Oh man, they are funny, man. The other day, Spanish Heritage Month. You guys, Kevin was throwing out words that his dad uses. It's a Spanglish from New York, New Yorican, and he was making Danie B guess. And so he was like, "Vamos pa Guama," and he's like, "What? Guama? What?" Wait, you say it right? How do you say it right? Am I saying it right, Kevin?
Yeah, it's Guatemala.
Guatemala.
I was so because the way he wrote it out. The way he wrote it out is what was confusing me.
I wrote it out like,
so I was like, wow. And I'm like, do I pronounce it like Spanish, like ooh, I, and e? Like I was like, I'm putting my vowels, like it's not coming out right.
Oh man! And so that was so the answer was Walmart. That's where that was saying, let's go to Walmart. So that's dope, man. So you guys definitely listening to them. Every day here in Orlando. You guys are also on Alexa, right? How can I hear you on Alexa? Let's go to iHeart Music.
Power 95.3 skill, and then just say, Alexa, play Power 95.3. And
that easy. Cool. So anybody anywhere that's listening, you guys can check them out every weekday. Thank you guys for joining us, and stay healthy, stay safe, stay fierce.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks for watching. You can catch us live every Friday at 6 o'clock. And don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification button. Stay healthy, stay safe, and stay fierce.